to get away from me. She wouldn't stop. And then all of a sudden, I was lying on the floor, and there was a ton of heavy books all over me.
Well, Bobby, what was the cause of the fight in the first place?
Oh, Gail, who knows? She just loses control. And if Dr. Quartermain hadn't walked in when she did, I know she would have just put one of those big shelves of books and tried to kill me. God, it was so awful.
Now, listen, Bobby, I want the truth now. Did you say anything to Laura to make her fly off the handle like that?
No. You don't have to say anything to her to make her get like that.
Bobby, I know Laura very well, and she just doesn't start swinging unless she has a good reason.
Daddy, you don't know her at all, or you wouldn't know what to take her side, everything.
Bobby, I'm not taking sides. I'm just trying to find out why she swung at you in the first place.
Because she just gets crazy sometimes. She doesn't know what she's doing when it happens.
Bobby, was that the first time you ever saw Laura lose her temper?
Are you kidding? She threw a book at me the other day for absolutely nothing. My arm is still killing me.
Oh, come on, Bobby.
Scotty, if you don't believe me, ask Dr. Taylor. He saw the whole thing with his own 2 eyes.
Well, Bobby, then why did you even stay in a room with Laura alone?
Because, Gail, you never know when she's going to go off the deep end. All I did was go there to get a book, and before I knew it, she had me trapped in there.
Well, what did Peter say when he came in?
He didn't say that much. He just started asking a lot of questions, but I could tell. You know that Mr. Higgins? The one that's been assigned by the court to be watching Laura? I couldn't believe it when he walked in there and saw what she did to me.
Who called Higgins?
Not me. He must have been in Dr. Taylor's office when I called for help.
Well, where's he now?
I don't know. Dr. Taylor's probably...
No, not Higgins. Higgins, I mean.
I hope that Mr. Higgins is in with Dr. Taylor because they've got to learn to do something about her before it's too late. She's that unbalanced. She could be very dangerous in the outside world.
Gail, can I have some time off? I want to try and find Laura.
Scotty, I'm the one who got attacked. Besides, she's in with Dr. Taylor right now.
Bobby, I don't care, and I want to find Laura and make sure she's all right. Is it okay, Gail?
Sure. Take as much time as you need.
Okay, thank you.
Scotty!
Bobby, no!
I don't even know why I bother. He's just going to take Laura aside no matter what happens to me.
Bobby, now come on. Look, now that Scotty sees that you're all right, he just wants to see if he can help Laura, too.
Help Laura. He ought to be concerned about the next person that crosses Laura's path, not Laura! You know, have you seen Scott? Dr. Quartermain, I was just telling Gail what would happen if you hadn't walked in and saved me when you did.
I thought you were going to be in the lounge resting.
I needed somebody to talk to.
I'm sure you did. Well, I need to talk to you.
About what?
What did you say to Laura about David Hamilton?
Nothing.
She says differently.
Only because she brought his name up first. She always does. And then she takes it out on me just because I'm standing there.
I don't believe you. But let's say Laura did mention his name first. What did you say?
I don't remember. I was looking for a book to read.
A nice, juicy murder story? Filled with a lot of sex and violence?
Dr. Quartermain, I have just been through the worst ordeal of my entire life.
Now,
she
Bobby,
was trying to be...
Bobby, look, why don't you go up to the nurse's lounge and you just lie down until you're feeling better, and I'll come in and check on you later, okay?
Okay. Dr. Quartermain, whether you believe me or not, I want to thank you.
Monica, I really don't think you should get yourself in the middle of their battle.
I don't trust Bobby Spencer for 1 minute. She is jealous of Laura, and she has always been jealous.
But even so, I think it's something that they're going to have to work out among themselves.
In the shape Laura is emotionally... Come on, Gail, you know what that poor kid has been going through.
Of course I do, but I'm not taking sides till I know all the facts, and I think you should do the same thing.
I know the facts. Bobby Spencer would try anything to get Laura out of the way so she can have Scotty all to herself again.
Look, I know Bobby was very hurt when Scotty broke off with her, but I really don't think that she would have provoked Laura on purpose.
You're wrong. You're forgetting I've been down that road, Gail. There was a time in my life where I would have gone to any length to get revenge. If someone had something
I'm sorry. The nurse at the desk told me that I would find Monica.
Come in, Leslie. Leslie, how is Laura?
She's on her way to Peters right now for her session.
Well, that's good.
I'm sorry. I apologize to you if I was abrupt in the book room. I felt it was important to me to hear the story from her.
Leslie, please don't apologize. I understand you. You had to be frantic when you got that call.
I was.
Well,
I still am.
I don't know. From the little I heard from Laura, it sounded like an awful fight. I can imagine how ugly the whole thing must have been.
I guess I don't know any more about it than you do. She didn't want to talk about it.
Oh, Leslie, I mean, it's been quite an ordeal for her. Once she's talked to Peter and she sorts things out in her own mind, I'm sure she'll come to you.
Excuse me. Hello, Dr. Adamson. Oh, hello, Rick. Yes, she's here. Just a minute. Monica, Rick would like to talk to you.
Oh. Hi. No, there's no problem. Sure. Well, I'll see you in a couple minutes. Okay. Rick is going into surgery. He asked if I would assist him.
Sure. Thank you, for helping Laura through all that.
Oh, Leslie, you don't have to thank me. You know how fond I am of her.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, do you want me to say anything to Rick about this?
No, I think, I would like to tell him myself, Monica.
Oh, sure. I understand. Well, Gail, I'll see you later. Right.
Dr. Taylor and I were talking earlier about the bad feelings that exist between Laura and Bobby. But if today's incident is any indication, they're pretty deep-rooted, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, well, they're a lot deeper than I thought until just a couple of weeks ago.
Why? What happened?
Well, Mr. Higgins, I would rather not go into the details now because I like both of the girls a lot. So let's just say that it's been going on for a long time now.
Yeah, but this open hostility just started, right?
Yeah. Look, let me just say something right up front, at least from Laura's side. Mr. Higgins, the reason why Laura reacts so strongly by the mention of David's name or how he died is because she is terribly afraid that Judge Stallman is going to take her away from her parents and put her in a reform school.
I agree, Scotty. I told Mr. Higgins the same thing.
Scotty, have you seen Laura since she and Bobby had their fight?
No, I haven't. I looked everywhere. I thought she was with you. That's why I came straight here.
Well, she has an appointment with me soon, so she should be along any minute now.
If I see her, and if I find anything out from her, I'll let you know if you're going to be around the hospital.
Fine. In the meantime, I want to have a talk with Bobby Spencer and Rick Weber and his wife, if they're available.
I just hope that you're not going to have to file a report to juvenile court.
Well, as I told Laura and her mother, I'm going to get my facts together first and then go from there. Dr. Taylor, I'll be in touch.
Fine, thank you.
Well, he sure doesn't make it easy for Laura by hanging around here, or at her school, or at her house.
Just doing his job, Scotty.
Yeah, I know. I'm trying to convince Laura of that, but she's got this feeling that he's just waiting for her to slip up so that he can send her to reform school.
Well, I wish Laura would realize that Higgins and the court want the same thing that we want, a normal, productive life for her.
Yeah.
Laura might have come up the back stairs. I'm going to check. No, she's not there. She promised me that she'd be on time.
I just hope that she hasn't.
Hasn't what, Scotty?
Well, you know her pattern, Dr. Taylor. Whenever she can't deal with something, she runs away.
Well, she better not this time, or she'll end up in reform school.
Listen, if she does come back for her appointment, will you tell her to wait for me after she gets through?
All right. Now, if you're going to look for her, you better try the bookroom. She was going to spend some time with Monica.
No, because I just saw Monica as I was coming out of Gail's office, and she said that she was coming up here. Look, I'll see you later, okay?
Yep.
Susan, in a little while, I'm going to have a break. What do you say? You and I spend it together, reminiscing.
I thought you took all your breaks these days with Bobby Spencer, Chris.
Well, I do. I did until she stood me up this afternoon.
Uh-huh. Well, don't worry. You haven't lost your charm. Mrs. Brewer sent this note down saying that Bobby took the rest of the day off because she wasn't feeling well.
Oh, well, thanks for the boost. Now, more importantly, what about you and Chris?
Oh, excuse me. Have you seen Laura?
Well, yeah, I saw her about 20 minutes ago.
Where?
Well, going out the door. Going home, I guess.
Why do you think that?
Well, because she had her coat on. She must have been in a hurry, too, because I said goodbye to her and she didn't even answer.
Let's see. Those pictures. With all those awful things printed all over them.
I wouldn't waste my precious time on the stamp sending anything to you. Now, with that out of the way, I intend to choose a book to read on my break, if you don't mind. What I would like is a nice, juicy murder story. Something with a lot of violence. How about recommending one to me? You ought to know all the good ones. Come to think of it, you could probably write a bestseller. Not only about violence, but about sex, too.
You shut up! You shut up and don't you ever talk like that again! And don't send any more horribly things in the mail to me because I know it was your name. You get out of here! Ah! You get out!
Bobby?
What?
Are you all right? I heard you moaning and groaning when I looked in.
Oh, Joanne, you don't know the half of it. Today has probably been the worst day of my entire life.
Mrs. Brewer just said you weren't feeling well.
Well, she probably just didn't want word to get out.
Anyway, there's some guy outside named Higgins. He wants to talk to you, but if you're not feeling up...
Oh, no. Joanne, that's fine. I will get through it somehow. It's my civic duty. Mr. Higgins, now Joanne said you wanted to talk to me.
I do, yes. Would you like to sit down?
No, thank you. I'm feeling much better.
It must have been a very frightening experience for you.
Mr. Higgins, you don't know the half of it. The first time she pushed me, I am convinced she would have pushed that whole shelf over on me if Dr. Quartermain hadn't walked in.
Excuse me, Miss Spencer, but there's one thing that I just don't understand.
I'll be very happy to answer any questions you have.
The other day when you spoke to me in the elevator, you told me you were afraid to be around Laura lately.
Can you blame me?
No. But why would you walk into the bookroom, see that Laura is alone, and stay in there with her? Now, if I were you, I would have just walked away.
Because sometimes Laura's okay. You just never know when her temper is going to flare up.
Let's take today. Now, in your opinion, what made her temper flare up?
Mr. Higgins, I wish I knew. It's like that day she slapped me across the face. That just came out of the blue.
And when she threw the book at you, did that come out of the blue, too?
Oh, it did. Who told you about that?
Dr. Taylor.
You know, I am really glad he was around to see that. Because she usually waits until no one is around before she comes at me.
The problem is no one's ever around to hear how these arguments start between you two.
Wouldn't matter, they just happen. Is all of this going into the special report you're writing for Judge Stallman of the Juvenile Court?
The pertinent information, yes. After I talked to a few more people. Like Scotty Baldwin.
Scotty? What do you want to talk to him for? He wasn't even there.
Scotty knows both you girls very well. And I'd like to know a little more about your past relationship with Laura before I make any judgments.
Well, Mr. Higgins, I think I can save you an awful lot of time there. You see, Scotty Baldwin is so prejudiced, he would only tell you about Laura's good side.
And since you only tell me about her bad side, I could put the two together and maybe come out with a happy medium, huh?
Mr. Higgins, I am not prejudiced against Laura. I am just doing my civic duty as a good citizen.
Thank you very much for your time, Miss Spencer.
Mr. Higgins, if you ever want to interview me again, or if Judge Stallman wants me to testify, just call.
Thanks, but I think we'll get our information from sources that don't have any personal reasons for animosity towards Laura. Feel better.